God, I love that flag.
Sometimes I feel weak, I can't move my feet. Now I'm miles away. Sometimes I can't breathe, so effortlessly you left me with nothing.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Hey guys, we're gonna do something a little different. Yeah, I know, I'm always trying something new. Let's see. This one has actually been in the works since, well, for the last couple of weeks. And we've been trying to make this work, and it just hasn't been, it just hasn't worked out time-wise and da-da-da. So, where am I? And what the hell am I doing? I went from serene lakes and beautiful campsites and hiking trips to planting garlic. What? Anyway, I want to introduce you to the man that has allowed me to come here and adventure here and learn new things. You want to come on in?
What's up, Winmore? How's it
Hey, Gagan. I always call him Gagan. His name is Gungan?
It's hard, man. It's Gagan.
Yeah, that makes me want to say Gungan, and I know that's definitely wrong. Say it again.
Gagan.
Gagan.
Yeah, the reason it's hard is because in the Punjabi language, we use a lot of our diaphragm and our throat to say these languages. So the gug, it's coming from deep in my throat.
Gug. Okay. I'm still actually going to call you Gagan.
It all works. I don't care
because
how people call me.
As soon as I say Gung, I want to say Gungan.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars fan.
A lot of people used to call me Gungan too.
Yeah?
I don't really care. As long as they try, that's all that matters.
Yeah, but Gungans were, you know, people have so much bad animosity towards them. I don't know why. I thought they were hilarious. Anyway, so your name is Gungan? Don't. I know. You all know I cannot remember anybody's name.
That's so funny.
All right, Doug. I can't do this. Anyway, so people want to know, who are you? Why am I here? What is happening here? What is this? And I've asked you this privately, so I'm going to put this as the first question. Is this some sort of cult?
Yeah, it definitely gets that vibe, especially when you have like 50 people huddling around a campfire talking about life and what direction Canada wants to go into, right?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah. No, it honestly, it stems from, you know, after COVID, everything just kind of fell apart. Any kind of sense of community, communication, family, you name it. It doesn't matter what side of the vaccine you were on, we were all fighting against each other. And any sense of community or communication just fell out. And after COVID, I just got the hell out of Canada. I'm like, this isn't my country anymore. This is not the Canada I remember growing up. So I'm like, I can't help my fellow people, and they're taking me down. I wasn't perfect, you know, but I just needed to get out. Yeah. But I left. I just started backpacking around the world for 2-3 years. I didn't have much money. I survived on 15-20 bucks a day. I did jobs in hostels. I lived with the poorest people in Colombia. I lived with the people of Rajasthani deserts. And I don't know, through that experience, I just learned a lot about myself. But also, when you live with the poorest people around the world, you realize just how freaking good we have it here in Canada, but we just can't see it.
Yes, this is true. You know, we'd have it better if we worked together. Yeah. I was, you know, I was very disillusioned, and hence, well, you know, I've been to the convoy. It was why I went to the convoys, because this is not the Canada I grew up in, and we don't do this kind of nonsense, and it needs to end. But yeah. So, I've had a viewer, because I don't do interviews, I actually don't do people. He sent me 1 million questions. He did that. This is page 1.
That's awesome. But I'll finish up my main point. When I came back to Canada after my travels to visit my family, it was just, I noticed everybody wants the same thing. We all have the same values. More or less the majority of the public, we all want the same things, but we're all acting like enemies. We're all on different pages. And now after COVID, after we're all just so, can I swear?
Oh yeah.
After we're so fucked up, I realized people are more open to start working together. And I realized you can't just show up and start bringing people together and they're not going to trust you. But I'm like, my goal is how do we bring the community back? And my goal is to do that through farming and food. Because at the end of the day, everybody needs to be able to eat food, and right now in Canada, we're not eating good at all. And even if we are, there's not much nutrition in what we're eating. So my goal is to bring Canada together, bring the concept of community back together, but I'm focusing on food first and foremost. Once we get the farmers and the food situation taken care of, if you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy, then we can start working up the other layers. So this is what I'm starting here, is this just community bringing us together so we can start working together and turning Canada into the country we all want. Instead of just sitting there and fighting and having all these beefs, let's take action, not strikes, not protests, not civil war. How do we, through our steps, through our purchases, through our behaviors, shift Canada in the direction we want? Because we all know what we don't want. Everybody fucking knows that.
Yeah.
Right? But how do we go towards the direction that we do want? And it's quite easy to do that if we just get people on the same page.
Yeah. Just focus on the things that are actually important to all of us. And food is one of them. And I've always had a fascination with farming, but I never had the opportunity to really be in it. My wife had a hobby farm for animals, but I was just labor.
Really?
Yeah.
In Ontario?
Yeah. We had a farm when we were raising the kids. She raised goats, chickens, pigs, took care of the horses that were already part of the farm, rabbits, and yeah, we used to grow our own meat, our own milk, and our own cheese, and but I was just the labor. She would say, "Hey, move that there," and I was like, "Okay, yes ma'am, 3 bags full."
That's amazing. And you must have told me, but I must have forgotten. But that's incredible, dude.
Yeah, never done any gardening or anything, and so this is kind of new to me. I'm trying to learn it. And I think it's kind of cool.
How does the hobby farm? She's still running the hobby farm?
Oh no. We once the kids grew up, and we were sitting in a 3,000 square foot house with just my wife, myself, and my daughter. The 5,000 square foot barn and like 300 animals to take care of. It was way too much for us. And also the water system and the person that actually owned the property, we got into differences, and yeah, he blew our water system, and we went like a month without water, and it was like, okay, we gotta go. And so we moved off the farm and went back into town.
Do you miss that lifestyle?
I miss the simplicity of it. Yeah, the simplicity was so nice. I mean, I was driving truck at the time too, though. I was working night shift, delivering bread for Weston's Bakery, and so half the time I was off on the road, and the other half of the time I was trying to drag the sleep out of my eyes so I could move hay. I really didn't have much time for anything, but yeah. So this is fun to me. Not a people person, you all know that. But yeah, you've been putting me in crowds and all over the place, and I don't know what to film and what not to, because it's really not my, I don't know, foothold in YouTube or whatever. I'm more about sceneries and such, but it's great to finally sit down and figure out what this is all about.
Yeah, I'm still figuring it out too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not fully planned. I'm just throwing myself out there. My background is marketing. Marketing is my skill, but also bringing people together. I used to work for Coca-Cola, Microsoft, Xbox, Procter & Gamble, Budweiser's, and I would assemble teams, massive teams, hundreds and thousands of people across Canada and America. I would lead these teams, right? So my ability comes to not just how to market yourself, but how to bring people together. That's my core skill. So I'm using this farm as a bit of a hub for this community farming oriented movement that I'm doing, but that's my biggest ability. I personally don't enjoy large group interactions. It's not something that it's very exhausting for me, because it's different, but like one-on-one conversations, that's what fuels me. But it's just something I gotta do. Instead of just sitting here complaining about Canada, I'd rather fucking do something about it, right? So
Yeah, I do a lot of complaining about, well, not Canada. I actually love this country. I do a lot of complaining about our government. I just think it's lost its way. We need to remind it where it belongs.
yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement.
That's the understatement of the year. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. I promise you, because I want to put this on my days. All right, let's see what we got here. what is your background? You just went over that. What's the history of the farm?
Yeah, Dad bought this property 20 years ago for about $800,000. And it's about 8 acres, and Dad only bought it as a retirement plan. Right? He's like, because he knows no one's buying farmland for farms nowadays. They're buying it for real estate and investments. Same with my dad. So it's 20 years later now, the damn thing is worth $5 million. Which you think, oh great, you know, like we got $5 million. But if you look at it, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible, because who the fuck can afford a $5 million farm?
Yeah.
Right? If you want to get into farming is so difficult to make profit nowadays. People aren't getting into farming. The only people nowadays who can really afford farming are corporations. And the last thing we freaking need nowadays is the corporations buying up all our farmland. It's happening in the States.
It's been happening here too.
It's happening. It hasn't spread as much, but right now we're losing a lot of farmland because people can't afford it. Farming's not as popular anymore. We're losing like 120 farmers a month in Canada, and the aging population is selling their land. So
I have a question on that one.
yeah.
Okay, I know you're not really Farmer John, but you deal with a lot of farmers recently on this.
Yeah.
And this is something that it just rung in my head what you just said. Do you find it's true that Canadians don't want to farm?
I would say Canadians do want to farm.
Because we always use the narrative that we need to bring in workers to work farms, and it's the narrative that's, and I don't mean to get political over this one, but it is a narrative that I find confusing, because I'm out here, I'm not even getting paid, and I'm busting my back.
He is.
And trust me, my back's it's already busted long before I got here. But I find it hard to believe that Canadians don't want to do this job.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting point, because before we couldn't find enough laborers. We had to start bringing in Mexicans and Indians in order to do the work.
Yeah.
But it's shifting now, especially with the younger generation. People don't want to be sitting in front of their computers for 10, 15 hours a day. They don't want to be having the corporate lifestyle. I think people are slowly starting to realize money ain't all that.
No, it isn't.
As long as I can pay my bills, and as long as I have a decent relationship with my close friends and family, that's all we fucking need to be happy. And I'm seeing a big trend of people wanting to get back into farming, right? I think before COVID, we were all going for the tech space, making millions of dollars, but people just want a simple lifestyle. And I'm getting so many volunteers who just want to come and work for free on the farm because it's mental therapy.
Oh God, yeah.
Right? It's so satisfying getting away from your phone. I'm on my phone all day, but like, I'd rather spend 10 hours in the field working than 4 hours on a phone. So I think we're entering a new age where the younger people are now slowly leaving the cities because the cities are fucking us up.
Mm.
They're getting away from the cities and they're looking for new lifestyles. So now we're entering this new era, which I want to be a part of, and I want to start showing people that farming is accessible, farming can be profitable, and I want to make farming cool again.
I like, oh, we'll get to that in a minute here. Okay, why did you choose to do this? You just explain that. Why did you get the idea of a mission statement? Do you have a mission statement?
No, but pretty much I can share with what I'm doing with this farm. So I just started putting farmer markets together because everybody wants to support local farmers. But if you're buying local, it's a fucking luxury, right? Like when you go to farmer's market, like who can afford farmer's markets? It costs you like $4 a pound for blueberries when you can go to freaking Superstore and get it from California for $2. Like everybody wants to support farmers, but people are barely able to pay their bills nowadays. Everybody's struggling. As much as we want to support farmers, we can't, right? So then like, what's going on? Why is everything so fucking expensive when it's local? So I just threw myself into the industry. I started hosting farmer markets. I started talking to farmers. I started talking to canneries and factories, large scale farmers, small scale farmers. I just threw myself in there. I just realized like the system's really broken. It's not broken. The act of trying to feed the world was an impossible one and we made it work. It's just that it's a lot cheaper to ship things in, and anything that we do locally is being shipped out. And then there's not enough demand locally to keep our stuff here. But now with all these tools and systems we have, we can create that system. We can create a local demand for food and slowly start bringing that price down so that way people can buy, but we have to slowly shift that system. So my goal is to how do we make buying locally sustainable and affordable? So one of the projects I'm working on right now, of many projects, is I'm using my farm as a way to teach farmers different ways they can supplement their income outside of traditional agriculture. Like, farmers got fucked last year. Like, a lot of their crops didn't make through, they weren't selling their produce, and now you're only living off one paycheck a year, and now you only have like half that paycheck coming through. Of course you're gonna sell your land. You're gonna sell it for $5 million because you don't want this stress anymore. But there are so many freaking other new ways that you can make money on your farm that you don't have to worry about your mortgage. For example, the microplots. You know about that project.
Yep.
So I took 2 acres of my farm and I turned them into 1/8 acres. Okay? I rented it out only for $100 a month. I could have charged $300-400, but that's not the point. I'm bringing in new farmers and they don't need 2 acres, they don't need 5 acres. Give them 1/8 acres, they can start it up, and if they like it and it's profitable, they can move their way up. Now for me, I'm bringing in new farmers, and on top of that, I'm getting a little bit of extra income. And I'm showcasing this all on TikTok and Instagram, and now farmers are thinking, hey, I got 2 acres lying around. I can sell it out to the newer generation, and I can cover my mortgage. It's a win-win. I got the Airbnbs in the back. People want to come live on the farms and stay in the farms, rent it out, create a farm experience. On the winter season, you could bring volunteers in, they can stay for free and help you on the farm. The greenhouse got built by the community, right? People came in and pitched in, I'm giving this greenhouse for free. But everything I'm doing on the farm is to start showing farmers, don't sell your goddamn property. I will show you other ways that you can consistently make money, and if they can just have their mortgage covered, they will not sell their land. So that's what's going on with this farm and the farm project. I'm trying to use it as a showcase, and every project I do here, I'm turning it into a template, and I'm going to scale out across Canada. So this is like a testing ground.
Well, you got the marketing background. I have an idea of an area where I do see potential. You're located in Abbotsford, BC right now, which is the Fraser Valley, if people don't know. Just basically east of Vancouver, Surrey, Burnaby, you know, all the west coast there. Basically, urbanization everywhere around here. There are a lot of people that have desires to have a community, or to homestead, I should say. Homestead would be the right word for it. But they don't want to give up their city lifestyle. And I'm kind of curious if there's a way to market to that city. Sorry, lack of a better word. You know I don't know words. City slicker that wants to go play in the dirt for, you know, a season and grow their own foods. How do we go about making a market, or appealing to that market, to bring them out so that, you know, they come out on the weekends, they plant some crops, they do whatever. This might be an idea in a direction that, instead of just looking for people that want to become farmers, utilize that desire to garden or whatever they want to do, their little homestead idea, but still be living in the city.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking this might be a direction to look at.
No, you're 100% right. The concept of farming, it's a bit of a dream for people.
Yes.
We're sitting there, they're watching the YouTube videos of everyone going into the woods and homesteading or bushcrafting their thing. They love that idea. And there's a huge market for it, you're right. So I created 1/8 plots for my farmers. But there's not a massive appetite for farming, but there is for homesteading. And I realized 1/8 acre is a lot for people.
Oh yes.
It's about 2 tennis courts. And the city people don't need that much. So I'm actually coming up with a new concept in spring, 1/16 acre plots.
That would work, yeah.
It'd be great. I could charge $50 a month.
Yeah.
Again, the smaller it is, the more I can charge. And what's interesting is everyone that I've rented out my farm plots to, even though they're not doing much on it right now, they feel so fucking good that they have a piece of land that's considered their home. It's a dirt where they can just come out and play around. And for those city people, if they knew that they had the 1/16, it's like, you know how you can like name a star? You know, you can give, I name it on your behalf. Just the fact that I have a star out there with my name on it makes me feel good. I can sit there and look in the telescope and be like, that's mine. And you can give the city people 1/16 acres and they can come play around. You can make a gazebo on it. You can grow a few things. It's like your own personal garden. But that starts a little spark in people's head. And if they like that 1/16 acre, hey, they might get a half acre. They might get a quarter acre. But you're right, there's a big market for city people who want to disconnect from the city, but they can't because they have to live in the city.
Yes.
So that's a market that we're going to approach in the springtime. So I like the way you're thinking.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because I know there's community gardens, but what do? You get like this little one row or whatever. You don't get much space.
There's no community gardens anymore. There's
Really?
massive wait lists in this area because we have such limited land in the Fraser Valley. You're in wait lists, and if you do get anything, you're getting nothing.
Yeah.
Right? But there's so much unused farmland here. No farmer has ever thought, why don't I turn my farm into a community garden? Because farmers, they're very traditional. The reason I'm doing all this is to show farmers a different way of doing things. But unfortunately, you can't sit there and convince them. You have to show them first, which is why I'm using my marketing skills to put a spotlight on it, and my community is exploding. Everything I'm doing, other farmers are now doing and following me, and it's really creating that template. But you have to show it to them first, especially because they're old fucks, no offense. Right? But they're old dudes, and if they see somebody else doing it, they see me making money from my Airbnbs, they see all the people coming, then they'll do it. Because I've sat and talked with all these people, they call me crazy. But then once I do it and people follow, now they want to do it. That's a part of it. I don't like the attention. You know, now I'm becoming a bit of a celebrity status, and it's a bit uncomfortable in where I go, I'm that dude.
Yeah.
But if that's what it's going to take to get people to start seeing that there's a different way of doing things, I'm fine with it. You know, it just, I don't like large groups of people, even though that's what I do for a living.
And even large groups online.
Yeah.
Yeah, they bring out some of the worst.
Yeah.
I remember getting the 800,000 view videos and just listening to the comments, and it just, oh my lord. I'm glad I don't get those anymore.
Yeah, there's calm to it. I just launched my Airbnbs on TikTok yesterday. I made a video, and in less than 24 hours, 125,000 views.
Wow.
Just in one 30-minute video, it gets people's attention. As much as people hate on TikTok and social media, it's a fucking tool.
Oh yeah.
It's like a hammer. You can build a house or smash somebody's head in with it, and we're using it for good now. So it's really cool to see how we're inspiring people just through all the stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, I find a lot of people are anti-TikTok, and that because of they just disagree with a view that they see on there. Well, don't watch it. Right? It's so. Yeah, let's. No.
You don't want to get into it. You just want to rant it out.
People are stupid. Sorry. yeah, people are stupid.
Yeah.
All right, microplots. What is the plan to get there? We already went over. Are plots leased, or is it a partnership?
Yeah, great question. So I was at first. So the thing is, everything that I'm doing, it's not legal. It's not illegal. It's in the gray space.
Okay.
If you want to get through in life, you just can't follow rules. It doesn't work that way. But you have to understand the systems that we're in and how to work around it. So I'm really good at contracts, especially with AI now. I'm able to use AI to help me decipher all this data and information. And no one's done this stuff before because everyone just follows the rule. But if you can read the contracts and the data and talk to the right people, there is a gray space you can work in. I can't subdivide, I can't give up my land, but I found a way to lease out my land. You're allowed to legally lease out your land, and it doesn't require any kind of additional taxes or anything else. It's technically still my land. I've created my own contracts, but legally I'm allowed to lease it out. But it's a gray space that we're working with that no one really gives a shit about. Yeah, because the ALR, the Agricultural Land Reserve, they oversee the farm, and anything that you do on the farm has to be farming related. So for example, the Airbnbs, they're not allowed. Legally, you're not promoting farming or farming culture, so that's not allowed. But now, working through all the data and the AIs, I found a gray space. You are allowed to keep them there if the Airbnb promotes agritourism. Well, what promotes agritourism? Literally anything. If I put a basket of fresh carrots in their bin when they arrive, I'm promoting agritourism. If I create a self-walking path around the farm that educating them on the different crops, that's agritourism. Anything is considered agritourism. But people aren't opening up Airbnbs because you're not allowed to do it. No, there's a gray space. Learn how to use the gray space because that's how you get ahead in life, right? So that's how I'm able to come up with these systems that most people would never dare to do. Also, I'm pretty ballsy and I'm quite a risk taker, but everything's possible. You just have to understand that gray space and what works, you know?
I like that gray space.
Yeah.
It's a good place to live.
It is. That's how you, honestly, if you want to deal with life, you don't get ahead by just following the rules. It's not about being disrespectful and screwing people over. Just understanding that these systems that we have is not meant to benefit you. You have to use the systems to your advantage, right?
Yeah.
Just don't screw the people around you. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So on top of that, I'm not just doing a farming community, I'm also building a community. So I'm hosting classes here on how to get into farming, how to do composting.
Composting, yeah. Hey, do you know compost explodes? I'm not even gonna go there.
That was a good one. But I just don't care about farming. I just want to see the community come together. Soon we're going to be hosting yoga classes, healing circles, self-defense classes. Again, it all has to be agritourism. So before the self-defense class, everybody has to eat a carrot. That's agritourism, right?
I got no teeth.
Yeah.
Come on, mash it up.
But the main thing is I'm using my farm here as a community hotspot, but I'm also hosting farmer markets across the Lower Mainland. I'm not just doing it on my farm, I'm doing it in Surrey. I'm inviting local farmers. I'm hosting it all for free. I don't get paid anything for it, but the farmers can come, they host there for free, and they can get a bit of experience selling to the local market.
You have a rule in your farmers markets for all the farmers, don't you?
I do.
What is that rule?
This
is actually awesome, and I love it.
Thanks, man. The only thing I ask from, I will bring you thousands of people. I won't charge you shit. You just have to bring your tent and table, and I'll only ask that your price, what you charge, has to be lower than Superstore's prices.
Now, is that not fair? Just lower than Superstore.
So here's the thing I haven't told anyone yet. That's the start. I'm launching 3 new markets next year, and one of the markets, it's this market I'm doing now. I'm calling it a new farmers market. I'm realizing this market's really good for people who want to get into farmer markets, who want to start selling, but they don't know how and they want to get their feet wet. But consumers cannot support local farmers if it costs them more than their regular price. And let's be honest, most people don't shop at Superstore these days. It's too expensive still, you know? Even though a lot of Canadians do, majority can't afford it. They're shopping at No Frills, Fruity Kenna. So if we want a solution that's going to help the masses, we need to get our prices lower. So the new market I'm doing next year is all the farmers' prices has to match Costco's prices.
That's even better, yeah.
It is, but what do they get in return? Their quantity and size has to be pre-packaged in the size that you get in Costco. If they're going to give you a better deal, motherfucker, you have to buy more, right?
Yeah.
So instead of just selling them 1 apple, I'll give you a good deal, but you have to buy a 10-pound bag of apple. So it's really easy for the farmer just to go into Costco, see, okay, the apples are going for that, that's what I can match, and I'm realizing they can match the prices. But to price your products, you have to be a marketing expert. Pricing is a part of marketing, and farmers don't know how to do that. So I'm just giving them a reference point, and I'm going to launch that for next year. I think that's going to be more successful as a way to get affordable produce. So people will be, because if you're shopping at Costco, which most people love to, then you can come out to my market and support your farmers, get good, local, fresh, nutritionally dense produce at the same price as Costco. Who's going to say no to that?
You have a small restaurant, and you want to promote local economy and promote the local food. You go out to the farmers market and you pick up your produce there instead of going over to Costco and loading up your cart and fighting your way through the cash register. And make sure to bring your papers, because they're going to check your papers.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, after COVID, shopping at a grocery store is so traumatic. You can still see it today. People are just so on edge.
Oh, yeah.
People are too close to each other. People are still scared to go to the grocery store. But when you come to my markets, we call them the People's Market, people are happy, they're joyful, they're connecting with farmers, they're singing with them. It's a completely different vibe. It's reinvigorating people to get back into market. So you're not just getting produce at an affordable rate, you're not just getting healthy food, you're reconnecting with your local community, which is at the end of the day the point of everything that I'm doing. I'm just using food as a way to get through people's heads.
All right, let's see what else we got here. No, there's no paid staff. Is there an overlap, or is each plot producing something different? You went over that. People grow whatever they want. It's up to you. Just make it farming. That's all.
Yeah, I don't really care, as long as you're using the land. And I also have animal farmers coming soon. Goats, chickens, and sheep.
Oh, the goats will clear up the back a bit.
One of my farmers, they're building like a gazebo. One of my farmers, he's a young guy, the youngest guy. He's building a parkour camp on his farm plot. In the corner, like a little parkour gym where people can come. I don't give a shit. Grow your stuff, but if you want to do parkour, go for it, man. So
That'd be hilarious.
It's cool to see, yeah.
Why volunteers? We already been over. What are the benefits of being a volunteer? I get to beat myself up.
So, what are the benefits that you're getting from being here? Because you're committing a lot of time every single day.
Yeah, well, I only put about 3 to 5 hours a day in. It does beat me to crap, but I did make you guys a promise. I was 310 pounds in July or June, and I said 200 by Christmas. I think I'm getting pretty close. I've lost a lot of weight, and I've taken the belt in, put 2 holes in it, and I need a third. So I'm getting there.
That's awesome.
But yeah, just I love being in the fresh air. I love being digging in the dirt. I hate being a carpenter. Like you discovered that.
What do you want me to do?
Give me direction. I need direction.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just love getting in the dirt. It's just fun, and I know nothing about it, but I'm just, hey, this looks like it makes sense. This looks like it makes sense, and making it happen. And I'm also getting content for you guys. Although it's been pretty repetitive lately. I know. I'm working on that. We're changing it up. We're done with the garlic after today, probably. So, is there a social contract between the owner and the volunteers? Other than the standard respect for one another, I guess pretty much covers it.
Well, every volunteer has to sign a waiver.
Well, yes, yeah, sorry.
And that waiver just pretty much just says like you're responsible for your own stuff. You be responsible, you know, obviously there's due diligence that we have to have, but just respect me, respect my land, respect the fellow people, and don't sue me. Everything I'm doing here, like if my farm gets sued, then everything else stops. So I make sure I protect my property and my family.
Don't become Americans.
Yeah.
We don't need to sue everybody just because we don't like them.
I convinced my dad he was going to sell the farm. He was ready to retire, and I told Dad, give me the farm. I will use it to improve the standards in Canada. Because my dad's always been helping people. He's always been giving. A lot of Indians, when they come, they get set up and they help other people, not just Indians. Because when Dad first came, regardless of how racist Canada was back in the day, the whites helped my dad. They helped him get up on his feet. They supported him. And now he's trying to support other people regardless of color. So I told Dad, I will keep the farm. Keep the farm. I will use the farm to help people. And I will get your mortgage covered. Because I don't want to get to traditional farming, nor does he. But he made a promise to me. I'll keep the farm. I won't sell it. But you have to do good for society. So that's a promise that we made. And that's why he hasn't sold the farm.
You brought up something. And it was something I never knew about until the convoy. And I think it's important that people that watch this actually learn this, because this is really, really important. Because, you know, there is this divide between the Indian community and the white community. Okay, but it doesn't need to be there. The Indian community actually have a rule in place. If you ever see a Sikh temple and it has, is it orange or, yeah, it's orange flag flying above it, no matter who you are, no matter what God you pray to, whatever, that's an open invitation to come in, sit down, have a meal in that temple with them. There is no obligation, no anything. And correct me if I'm wrong here. Is this accurate?
Yeah, we welcome everybody.
Yeah. So this divide, we need to get it out of our head. There is no divide. We're just choosing not to interact.
Well, you know the thing that I'm seeing when the wave of Indians, Punjabi people who came in the 80s, man, they came to Canada, they were so grateful. I mean, you open, because all these Punjabi people, I've talked to them, they went everywhere. They went to Sweden, they went to Norway, they went there, nobody would give them space. Guess who did? Canada. And when they came here, they were so fucking grateful to be part of Canada, to the point where they would raise their kids Canadian. They would take us to Tim Hortons. They would take us to hockey practice. What was great about Punjabi people back in the day is they wanted to acclimate with Canadian culture to show respect. Everybody loved it. We got along so great. But what's happening now? The new wave of Indians are coming. And they don't care to acclimate because there's so many Indians here. They're bringing India here now.
Yes.
We call it Kanjarkam, which is like ass behavior, where they're just not showering, they're not being respectful, they're not trying to acclimate, they're not learning the language. Now, Canadians are very open-minded people. They love having different cultures here, but they're feeling disrespected by people who are not trying to acclimate now. That's the divide. In fact, with new immigrants, if they just did simple things, it would make Canadians feel super respected. Number one, when you're walking down the street, if you're a white person and you're walking down the street and you're in your neighborhood and there's a group of 3 brown people walking by and they don't make eye contact and say hello, they feel so shitty. Like we're neighbors, say hi. But in India, you don't do that. You don't sit there and you don't look at people and say hello. But in Canadian culture, we try to say hello. If new Punjabi people came and just said hello to their neighbors, it would make them feel more respected. If Punjabi people just start saying thank you more often, because again, that's not a thing in Indian culture. It would make Canadian people feel more respected. And the last one I've noticed is in India, we don't have boundaries, like personal boundaries, because it's India. We're shoved into a small space. So we come here, and Canadians, they have a really big bubble, right? And that's okay. But when you're in the grocery stores and you get too close to people, you just have to say, excuse me, right? I know Indians aren't trying to disrespect Canadians. They're just coming from a different culture. But there needs to be some education on how to make Canadians feel respected. If you just say hello, excuse me, and thank you, I promise you half these issues would disappear.
Please. Please is another one.
Please is a good one.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't like sorry, and sorry annoys me.
That's Canadian though.
There is a divide. There is a divide when you see huge groups of Punjabi people on the street doing whatever they want and not Canadian. They're come to our land. I don't care if you're black, if you're Chinese, or what. Just be grateful and don't be disrespectful, right? And that's what's happening is these new cultures are coming. They don't know how to show respect because they haven't come from a place that shows respect in Canadian ways, and people are feeling disrespected, which is starting this faux racism where people are leaving racist comments online, but they're not actually racist.
No.
They're just picking on people because they're getting annoyed by that behavior. That's my take on it.
That's actually really good. I
Even
like that.
brown people, they're just like sick and tired of the new brown people coming. Like, these guys are assholes. They're being so disrespectful. It's not just a white person thing. It's a Canadian thing. Even the Chinese are annoyed by all the brown people showing up, you know? And
I've actually heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually heard that. They're a lot more vocal amongst themselves about it.
Yeah, and it's funny because most people don't like the Chinese, you know? So the Chinese are going against the Indians, but it's just respect. Show respect. And they don't know how. So if we just started educating new immigrants on how you can show respect to Canadians, things would. But unfortunately, in Canada, we can't survive without mass immigration. So.
Oh God, no.
So it's
especially if we've got, enhanced. Nah, I'm not gonna go there.
Sure. But it's a balancing act. Sure, bring in the immigrants, but they have to acclimate to Canadian culture. You know, like there's a reason that Muslims aren't invited in Norway and Sweden. It's because Muslims, as much as I love them, as much as my close friend is Muslim, they don't acclimate to the culture, right? It's nothing about being racist. If you're coming into my country, you need to become a part of our culture. But instead, a lot of Islamic people, they keep their culture separately, and it causes a big divide between the country. And the reason Norway and Sweden are working so well together is because they're homogenous. They all work on the same page. Canada needs to do the same. We got a great country. It's one of the best places to live, regardless of what's happening on right now. But if you're going to come here, there's certain rules you have to abide. We welcome your culture. Bring your food. Bring your ideas. That's fine. But just come on the same page with us. Don't create your own silos and separate yourself from community. That's the issue that we're seeing nowadays, and that's why this movement's so big. Because if you see my community, it's whites, it's browns, it's Muslims. I'm showing we all are on the same page. We just got to figure out how to fucking communicate together. You know.
I showed you in that bonfire there where it's just a diverse group of people that were just here trying to figure out how to make Canada better.
Yeah.
It was actually a really good night.
Yeah.
I was a little bit overwhelmed, but I struggled through.
You did a great job. People really like you.
Yeah, I'm just not a people person. I just don't like being in crowds. Yeah, I can do one-on-ones a little bit, and I'm at the same time. Let's see, where are we here? Nope, don't go away. Is there an education aspect? I'm living proof there's education. They've taught me so much, and just I actually learned all the steps to planting the garlic from watching somebody do it. Another Punjab family, I forgot his name.
Grey Walls?
The one that was doing the...
Oh, Sunny Singh.
Yeah, Sunny. And his dad was a farmer back in India, and he come to Canada to visit his son and helped him plant the garden there. And I just watched how they did it and the steps that they took, and that's what I did.
Yeah, my philosophy on my farm is you want to come do farming, you want to help out, I'm not going to hold your hand. This is the playing ground, you figure it out. You make a mistake, I don't care, that's not the purpose of it, right? Come here, give it a try, play around, have fun, we'll figure it out eventually.
There's got to be a machine that picks rocks though.
I just see you outside just like picking rocks all day long.
Every day for the last, week?
Yeah, that's funny.
I've actually enjoyed it though. I mean, the other volunteers offered to come out and help me make some more rows, and I'm just like, okay, but they said, oh, you just rake it and I'll pick the rocks. But no, I pick the rocks as I'm raking. That's kind of, I don't know. But anyway, let's move on to some more questions here. There's an education aspect. Farming has no guarantees. What happens if there's a failure? Well, then you learn, didn't you? That's what happens if you stub your toe. You learned. Don't do that.
Well, part of this process is teaching. Again, I'm working with two different parties: the public and the farmers. The public, I'm trying to rally together and get them ready to support the farmers. The farmers need education. Diversify your crops. Diversify your income. Don't go fucking planting 20 acres of blueberries and get upset that everyone else is growing blueberries and the price of blueberries have gone down. That's your mistake. Don't get mad if the government asks for bailouts when that's on you. Plant different things. Plant asparagus, plant blueberries. Don't put all your money in one thing. The farmers have to become a bit more educated, and not just crops, other things as well. Microplots, Airbnbs. There's so many ways you can make money on a farm. It's endless, but just diversify the way you're making income, so that way when your crops doesn't work out, you're not screwed and now you have to sell your farm to Bill Gates. You know what I mean?
Glad you brought his name. It was hard for me not to
I
earlier.
see you holding it all.
Oh yeah. They know. I can go off pretty good.
Yeah.
What? How does the harvest get to market? Well, that'd be on you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so I'm using my marketing skills to teach farmers how to market properly. Marketing involves 4 P's. Price, how much are you charging? Place, where is it being sold from? Promotion, how are you promoting it? And there's a 4th one, I forget it.
That's a good way to
Yeah.
I have 4 things.
Price, place, promotion,
And don't forget the last one.
product. What are you growing? Of course. But these are marketing techniques, and farmers nowadays, in order to be successful, they're expected to be a farmer full time, but now they're expected to become a marketing expert. That's not reasonable. So I'm teaching farmers how to do all these things. How do you find appropriate prices? How do you market your business in effective ways? How do you bring your product to market? Which product should you be marketing? There's so many ways that you can bring your product to market, and in spring, I'm going to show them unique ways. For example, I'm going to do a you-pick grocery store here. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to grow spinach. You want to come here and collect yourself spinach. You come, pick it yourself, weigh it out, and it's like honor system. You weigh it out and you pay yourself. We don't need these high overheads of businesses and stores, packaging, putting stuff away. Bring your own bags, come here. It's a you-pick grocery store. Why the fuck is no one else doing this? Right? But hey, let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. If it works, then I can teach other farmers how to do it.
Diversify the crops, so this way you have more appeal to the customer coming in.
That's right. Small scale farmers have to diversify their crops. Large scale farmers doing monocrops. That's the way it works. The large scale farmers are what's selling to the grocery stores to keep it low, but the large scale farmers do not care to sell to the local public. They're selling across the world. But if the small scale farmers start diversifying their crops, then they can start servicing the local community. And that's what I'm realizing. There's 2 different types of farmers, the small and large scale. People think there's one, but they're actually quite different people. And that's something I'll be tackling next year as well.
So it would define difference between a small and large. How much?
About 10 acres.
About 10
Less
acres?
than 10 acres is a small scale farmer, and then there's like the weird in-between space, you know, of like, let's say up to 50 acres. I don't know what those people are, so I have to figure them out. We'll call them medium scale for now, but they're kind of on the precipice of large scale. And then anything 50 or larger, they're large scale farmers producing hundreds of thousands of pounds of produce. But majority of them are, because we only have like a handful of large scale farmers. They're taking over the market, and they're great. We need them. You know, they deserve our respect. But majority of people are small scale farmers, and they're the ones that are struggling the most. Yeah.
We already been over government regulations. It's the gray area. Play in it. It's the best place to play. Are the possessions plots long term, or do they rotate? Are the possession of the plots long term, or do they rotate?
Yeah, ultimately I'm leasing it to them, but I told them as long as you want the land, you can have it. So they're a year-to-year contract, and they can renew it each year.
Oh, okay.
My animal farmers have 3-year contracts because they have to put a significant investment to bring their animals in.
Yeah.
You can take the farm as long as you want, because again, I'm not doing this for revenue. This is to show people so we can scale it across. I'll make my money as other ways. I'm making money off the Airbnbs, but for these plots, take it for $100 a month. You get land, water, and access to storage. I'm losing money on that, but again, the impact across Canada is going to be quite significant because now all these people are starting to think, all these farmers are starting to open up their land. I'm seeing it now. They've already started reaching out and asking, how do I get farmers on my property? So it's starting a bit of a trend.
Oh, so where am I going next?
We'll see.
How many plots are there? Well, I guess you sort of just covered this just now. How many plots are there, and are there plans for expansion?
Yeah, I think I've done, so I had over, honestly, like maybe like 300 people apply. I interviewed them all and I selected about, I think 10 to 11 farmers. Because it's not just, I have to pick the right people. I have to ensure they succeed. And also I picked, on a marketing term, a diverse group of people. I picked white, brown, Asian, women, Muslim, Sikh, just so anyone looking at this project can be like, hey, I'm like that person. I could do farming, right? Normally I'm not a big fan of diversity representation, but in this concept, it actually makes a lot of sense. So I picked about 10 or 11 farmers. I'm keeping about 2 or 3 acres for myself because I want to fuck around and try different crops like rice and saffron. But in the spring, I'm probably going to open up 5 more plots.
Saffron.
Yeah, you can grow saffron here.
What is saffron?
Oh, it's one of the most expensive spices in the world, herbs in the world. It's really popular.
Well, let's get that into the ground there, bye.
I might be doing a vertical farm in here, so I might be able to grow saffron in here as well. But I want to grow crops that you can grow here that nobody's growing yet. Because then if I can show that there's a demand for it, then I can inspire other farmers how to do so. But I think I'm going to be opening up a few more plots in the spring, but specifically 1/16 acre plots. I think there's more demand from that as well.
Yeah, that would draw in the homesteady mindset. And you got to remember, you can do this just on your weekends.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good way. You come out, rent the Airbnb for the weekend, and you work on your plot, and bing, bang, bob, Bob's your uncle. And you just have this great little thing.
Yeah. And the view is just so stunning out here. I've been living here for 20 years. I never get sick and tired of it.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day, well, you guys see it.
It's unreal.
Yeah, I've been showing you every day. And the geese, oh my goodness. The Newfie Air Force, I tell you. That's what I keep calling them.
Since you've come, they've been coming out a lot, but they weren't really around before you came.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
I
they've
brought
been-
them in.
Yeah, they're following you.
Honk, honk. It's all that honking from Ottawa. They just hear it still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I appreciate everything you've given to me, and the fact that you've allowed me to come out here and learn and dig around in your dirt and plant your garlic, and hopefully, well, I guess you're going to be doing a vertical thing in here. I'm supposed to learn how to do greenhouse gardening. I don't know anything about that.
You'll
So,
figure
hey,
it out,
yeah.
You know, the biggest thing that I wanted to share is that ultimately with Canada, there's a lot of things going wrong right now.
Cool.
And I see that there's 4 different parties that we have to all get on the same page. Okay? There's the public, there's the farmers, there's the government, and there's the corporations. Okay? So right now, the public, honestly, with my movement, I got a pretty decent size of the public behind me. I'm kind of stepping up as a leader for the public. Okay? Starting in January, I'm actually going to start uniting all the local farmers. Okay? Get them all underneath one voice. Produce, dairy, meat farmers, any kind of farmers, they're all going through the same stuff, and there's a lot of government regulation coming down on farmers to make farming more difficult. I'm going to unite all their voices so farmers have one voice so we can stand up a little bit. Once I lead the farming community and the public, I can then join those 2 communities together. It's a very easy connection to make. Once that happens, what's really cool is the government will just do whatever these people ask for. The government wants to provide the people what they want, but the thing is the people don't know what they want. They say that they don't want oil pipes, but yet they're driving their goddamn car around everywhere, right? They say that they're against plastic, but they're wearing Nike shoes. It's really hard for the government to help the people when their words are not lining up with their actions, right? Once we get the people and the farmers together, that will start a chain reaction because the government are going to follow. And once the government follows, the corporations just follow what the people want. Look at McDonald's. People were complaining so much about McDonald's, about you're serving bad food and shitty food. That's because what you wanted. Now that you're asking for better food, what are they doing? Local farmer chickens, using real eggs in their stuff. Corporations aren't bad. They're just doing what people want. People complain.
Doing what they can get away with.
Exactly, true.
Yeah, what
But
people will pay for.
And people complain about Superstore all the time. Weston is making millions of dollars, this and that. Motherfucker, who told you to shop at Superstore? No one's forcing you to shop at Superstore. You've been shopping there for years, and now that you're not making enough money, you're getting mad at Superstore? No, Superstore is just doing whatever you have asked for. But if we just get the farmers and the people together, the government and the corporations will follow, and then we can all get on the same page. But right now, the corporations are just taking advantage of the people and the farmers because we're so spread apart. There's more power within that. But there is a benefit for all four parties if we can just get on the same page. I don't think corporations are inherently evil. It's just, as a marketing person, it is unbelievably easy to take advantage of people.
Yes.
The same tactics I use to manipulate and make millions of dollars for my clients, I'm using those same tactics to bring people together. I'm using it for good. And I'm telling you, it is so much harder to do good and inspire and motivate people than it is to manipulate people, right?
Yes.
But it takes time, but it's more sustainable. So that's my plan. And right now I've got the community together. Now I'm going to focus on the farmers here soon. And once we get them together, everything will fall into place.
Well, I thank you for letting me out here.
Of course, man.
And how long am I here for?
As long as you want to be here, man.
All right.
I love having you here.
I love being here.
Yeah.
I got to change up the scenery every now and again, though.
Yeah, if you want to fuck off for a few days, you're always welcome to come back. There's always a spot here for you.
Yeah. Oh God. Thank you, sir.
Whitmore.
You almost called me my name.
I did. Alright, I'm gonna get into it. Let me know if you need anything else.
All right. Thanks.
See you, bud.
Thanks, guys. Have yourself a great one. Welcome to the Fringe.
Hey you, I'm feeling it so. Hey you, now where do you go? Hey you, should let it go. I do think you care. Do you?
Welcome to the Fringe.
You